Next speaker we have Miss Joan Cousins.
Hello. I spoke to you at the last council meeting. I think I was perhaps the first person to speak to you about this aluminum dynamics project. I had learned about it 6 weeks ago, just from something someone posted online. I was like, this is happening? I hadn't heard anything about it. I started researching very quickly, found the 193-page application for the Title V 8 from ADQ. Couldn't understand it. So I started researching for people that helped me understand it. And I came across two people, and one of them was Stephen Brittle, who's been fighting environmental issues in Arizona since 1990. He understands these things. And he reviewed that and said, wow, this is not a good idea for Benson. I'll write the city councilors an email. So when I spoke to you 5 weeks ago, I was encouraging you to read that email, his analysis. So he has been doing this work for 35 years, and this is a quote from one of his emails. He said, this would be one of the most polluting facilities in terms of toxics and risks that we have ever seen. So that's after doing 35 years of environmental work here in Arizona. And I'm pleased to say that I confirmed with him today, they have, he and his people really know what they're doing. They're thinks this is a really bad idea, and they've never lost a lawsuit in their 35 years because they get their details really accurate. And so since I spoke to you 5 weeks ago, at that point, I thought actually this project had to go through the city council. Then I learned that it didn't. And then I learned that it happened in the P&Z. And then I went and I looked at the minutes of the P&Z, and I saw that there was no questions, there were no discussions. Then I went to the minutes of the so-called community, awareness meeting. I have some friends that attended that. And in that meeting, there were only 20 people, and probably at least 5 of them were staff, so clearly the word didn't get out. And that's why now, if you turn around and look, we've all become aware of this in the last 5 weeks. And obviously people, by and large, are not happy about it. So I'm in that community meeting, the president of Aluminum Dynamics was asked, what's gonna come out of your stacks? And he lied. Now we know that he knew at that time that they were required to file this ADEQ Title V permit, and that they couldn't even start to build their plant until they got that permit. And the only people required to file for that are companies that are going to be putting toxic stuff into the air. So what was his answer to what's going to come out of your stack from a community member? He said it was warm and clean. Warm and clean. He lied. He knowingly lied. So my request, and I think a lot of people in here would agree with me, is that we have another community meeting. And at that community meeting, we're not lied to, and we want to see, everybody's been doing a lot of research, so a lot of people are a lot more informed than what we were 5 weeks ago. And one of the things that's really important is to really get the truth and have a chance to have another vote. Okay? I mean, that community meeting, they had to have it. It doesn't qualify. 20 people came to that meeting. That tells you it wasn't adequate notification, and then the president of the company lied. So, the other quick request I would ask is those 3 reports that the company had to submit to the city for their conditional approval. I was told 2 weeks ago by a city employee that you all had just received it, those 3 reports. I know multiple people that have asked for those reports, and as of today, I hadn't heard of anyone who received them. So as people that live and are going to be dramatically affected by this plant, we need to see those reports.
All right, thank you, Ms. Cousins. Your time is up. Next.